Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Great story, OP. Hopefully that lady gets some common sense and just takes what an employee says. Funny how people like that can be so entitled. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I saved a sales assistant from a Karen. So this happened about 5 years ago. Now, I'd worked at this exact store previously, so I was familiar with how their system worked. We have me, 23-year-old female, Karen, 40s female, and the sales assistant, SA, late teens, early 20s male. I was waiting in line at a well-known book/stationery store in my local mall buying a card and gift wrap. Karen was in front of me arguing with the boy at the register because she wanted to know if they had a book in stock. The book was in stock, but only available when ordered from the online store as it was old and no longer being sold in store. So Karen would need to purchase it herself online. When ordering from this company's online store, it'll be shipped to the address of your choice via courier. Of course, this comes with additional shipping costs. Karen, however, seemed to think this meant he could order the book in and she would be able to pick it up the next day. This is not the case, as the stores, while operating under the same company name, are completely different. Thus, the argument begins. Karen: well, can't you just order it in? SA: sorry, our system doesn't allow us to do that. Karen: yes, it does. I've done it before. SA: sorry, since the company's under new ownership, all stores are separate now, including the online store. Karen: it's the same company. You're just being lazy. SA: sorry, you'll need to order it yourself online. They went back and forth a couple of times before I spoke up. Me: he's right, that's not how the system works. Karen turns, glares at me, and says, do you work here? Me: no, I did work here a year ago. That's how I know how the system works. Karen: but you work in the mall. She then proceeds to look over my clothes for a name tag or uniform logo. Me: nope, nice try though, as I unzip my jacket so she can get a better look at my civvies. Karen: well, where do you work? Me: that's literally none of your business. Karen: yes, it is. Your employer should know how you behave in public. Me: insert surprised Pikachu face. Me: actually, that's not how the world works, lady. At this point, you could see the rage building inside her as she realized she had no power over me. I too noticed at this point that I was in a unique position where I could call this lady out for basically being a butthole, and there's nothing she can do about it. Or so I thought. Karen, with a smug look on her face, then says, well, you probably don't even have a job. Me: yeah, I'm not falling for that. She was obviously trying to bait me into telling her. Me: you can think what you want, lady, but at the end of the day, I'm not a pathetic person whose only sense of control in the world is threatening a person's livelihood to get what they want. Me: you know you're a crappy person, right? Karen, absolutely fuming at this point, storms off. I then proceed to pay for my card and gift wrap while having a laugh at the SA at the register about what just happened. Now, you'd think this is the end of my encounter with Karen, but oh no, she still thinks I work in the mall. So as I leave the store, I stop and get a coffee from the small kiosk cafe just outside. I noticed Karen was watching me, and I crap you not, this psycho continued to follow me into every single store I entered and asked the person behind the register if I worked there. At this point, I was thinking, I can't go back to my car because she'll get my license plate numbers and be able to look up my information, then Facebook stalk me. I end up calling a taxi and going to see my dad, who lived about 10 minutes up the road, and got him to take me back to my car an hour later. Edit: I should also note that if Karen hadn't turned feral the moment I spoke to her, there was a way we could have ordered the book for her. We weren't supposed to do this, but when I worked there, I would often do this for nice older people who weren't comfortable with online shopping. Keyword: nice. We could order the book from the online store using a gift card, so I would sell a gift card with the exact amount needed for the book and shipping and use that for the online store. We could then get the book delivered to either our store or the customer's address. I would then write down their order number and receipt number on the receipt printed for the gift card, along with the expected delivery date, tracking number, and a contract number for the online store's help desk. I would then tell them if the book hadn't arrived by the expected date to either call the help number I provided, or they could call our store and ask for me personally, and I'd call the help number for them. I only did this a handful of times because the district managers didn't like the amount of time it would take to do this. Maybe an extra 15 minutes out of my day. I would have reported her to mall security for stalking you. They might not have had the evidence to do anything, but it'd probably scare her and give you some time to get away while they questioned her. And our second story. I haven't had a sick day in 9 years. For reference, this takes place around 2017, so definitely pre-COVID. I used to work in a training center for a Fortune 500 company. When class wasn't in session, the building normally only had 4 people in it. Me, trainee, the boss, and the 2 trainers. I called in sick 2 days in a row because I had some nasty lung infection. On the second day, the boss starts ranting at me about how kids these days have no discipline, and I haven't taken a sick day in 9 years. I tried asking if he wanted me to get a doctor's note, but he was pretty adamant about me coming in the next day. He said that he can decide if I'm actually sick, and he can send me home. I was one of the few women working in that section of the company, less than half everyone's age, and felt like arguing with him about it was a bad idea. That next morning, I decide to not pump myself full of cold meds and just go in raw dogging life. As soon as I walk in the door, the trainers look at me and say, "I'm very sick. Might want to give me a wide berth." They looked at me wide-eyed, nodded, and went to a different section of the building. The boss hears me coughing so hard I'm having to do that gasp for air like I just emerged from the depths. He walks in and goes, "Oh, you really are sick. You should go home." But I don't understand how you got this sick. And then reminds me, I haven't taken a sick day in 9 years. So I drive home and come back in the next day. The trainers look at me and say, "What the hell are you doing here?" Me. The boss says that if I'm actually sick, he can send me home. They laughed and avoided my section of the building. The boss once again hears me coughing and gasping for air and comes in and dismisses me, and this time tells me that he doesn't need more proof. I can come back when I feel better. 4 days later, Mr. I haven't taken a sick day in 9 years was sick with some nasty lung nonsense and was out for a week. If only he had more discipline. Damn, OP, you actually got the jerk sick. Good on you for breaking that 9-year ego streak of his. I'm convinced some people never get sick because they're so horrible to be around, no one wants to be close enough to give them anything. And our next story. Former coworker demands a job because she's a mother. In my previous job, I was a mid-level manager and I was assigned a small team to lead. This team was composed of 4 members. 3 of them were very hard workers who always finished their jobs and tried to learn as much as possible. The 4th one? Well, she had to be asked continuously to finish her job, often tried to make others do her job, was late more often than not, would spend hours talking to others, not doing her job and disrupting others. I often asked my boss permission to fire her, but he pitied her because she's a single mother. She is, as in not married, not dating her kid's father, but the father and his parents live next to her, and her parents are all very much involved in the kid's life. He also forbade me from ever reprimanding her. Eventually, I was offered a better-paying job and left the company. After a few months, I was offered a promotion that required me to assemble a team to lead. I could either choose from the company or bring new people. I decided to contact the hardworking members of my old team and offered them the new job. It was a no-brainer for them. Much better pay, much more benefits, better working conditions, and the possibility of WFH most days. They were happy of landing a better job together, and I was happy to have my old team back. A couple of days later, the 4th member of my old team called me. She was very angry that I didn't offer her the job, knowing that as a mother, she could use the benefits and working hours. She demanded I hired her too, but I refused. Since I had no one forbidding me from being honest, I told her that her work ethic and performance are terrible and that hiring her would be worse for me. There were so many more things I wanted to say, but I bit my tongue. She called me some names and hung up. Later that day, I received the weirdest and most stupid call of my career. The HR manager from my former company called me. This has to be the most stupid HR manager I've met. I have so many stories of her incompetence. Apparently, after calling me, my former coworker was angry and upset. HR noticed and asked what was wrong, and she told them. So the HR manager called me to reprimand me for making her upset for treating my team unfairly and demanding that I either offered her a job in my new company or apologized. I laughed, argued with her for a bit, and hung up. Sounds like your old company's desperate to get rid of her too. You could be telling the truth perfectly, or you could be exaggerating about the woman former coworker, but it doesn't make any difference. She's not your problem, and you don't want her as a problem. And our last story. HOA versus Buddhist family. We've had a number of issues with the hypocrisy of our board, conflicts of interest to be specific. A petition went around to remove the corrupt board, but not enough votes were put into place due to her bullying residents into signing a counter petition. So now the board's going after anyone who signed the petition. The management company told the board who signed it, "My wife is a Buddhist. Every place we've lived, unfortunately, has had an HOA, but none have ever bothered her for following her rituals. As a Buddhist, your home is your temple where you pray. Your shoes do not come into the home. We live in an 18-unit condo complex. Each unit has a deep alcove. My wife and I leave our shoes in our alcove." This has started a crap storm. Threats of fines. We had to go to an appeal, and for the fourth time had to explain this is due to our religious observation. We pointed out the hypocrisy of board members keeping things in common areas where we keep our shoes are not common areas as it's not clean. And they keep redefining what is a common area and what is not. The president lied about who filed the complaint. We have a recording of her telling us who filed the complaint, and they signed an affidavit saying they never complained. The rule they're attempting to enforce is a very vague, up-to-interpretation type rule that changes constantly and to benefit themselves. We have a lawyer and previously gave the president a cease and desist order, so she now has her lackeys coming after us. We've spoken to everyone in the community, and they are beyond angry. We informed them, both the board of directors and the community, we will not be paying their fines, and if they want to hurt the community by being bigoted, legal action will be taken. Edit. Figured I'd give you the rule they're enforcing. Nothing shall be altered, removed from, or stored in the common elements without proper written approval from the board of directors. So they have the power to write the permission slip. They're just choosing to be jerks. Stay strong in your resolve to protect your rights and the rights of others facing similar challenges within the community. Legal action seems like a necessary step to counteract this discrimination and ensure that the board respects the principles of fairness and equality. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.